I've never been big on July 4th. It's no secret. I think it's a show of faux patriotism, but to celebrate today seems especially disgusting considering that DeSantis's little gator gulag, or alligator Auschwitz, whatever we call it now, opens today on July 4th, receiving the first detainees in the largest concentration camp in America since Japanese internment during World War II. And I tried to point out the parallels between the rise of how we got from no concentration camps to extermination camps in Germany, but TikTok found that to be a violation of its community standards. So I'll repeat it, that when they opened the first concentration camps in Nazi Germany, it wasn't for Jews, it was for disabled people, queer people, political dissidents, and went through a period of time of becoming extermination camps. The average German citizen had no idea that many people, that millions of people had been killed in these camps. They were originally pitched as temporary housing for deportation of undesirable people, which is exactly what's happening now. They didn't start executing people right away. That took time. And most Germans still didn't believe it until after the war ended and they started to see the places for themselves. And that's partly because they were out of sight, whether that is sending people to countries they've never been in, regardless of their legal status, like taking American citizens and sending them to El Salvador and doing nothing to help them for months. Or I guess now there's several places in Africa they want to do. Or in the middle of the Florida Everglades, where there's one road in and you can completely control who sees what. Not to mention that swamps are particularly great in organically breaking down human bodies. It is, I think, delusional to think that that's not where we're headed, or that it's not already happening. And I feel like there's nothing to celebrate. I never really did, because this country, its entire premise is not founded on the freedom from taxation and colonial rule. That was one tiny little sliver. That was just the colonies at the time. There was a whole rest of the country. And its initial beginning of European occupation was done by a Holocaust against Native American people, was built by slaves who, the legacy of those institutions still exists today. And those institutions continue to reflexively protect themselves against any challenge. That's why universities are being compliant with the Trump administration and attacking students who speak up against the genocide that we're funding over in Gaza. What is there good to celebrate about this country in this moment right now? I mean, if you can think of something, let me know. Because I want to leave, but I'm also a fighter. I went back to Florida and fight after I was safely out because I'm a fighter. And I think of how many people can't leave. And I don't know what to do. And if you're feeling like this, you're not alone. It is a tragedy that the American democratic experience has failed, or the American Republic. But maybe it was always doomed to begin with. No constitution that hides an inequality under the guise of freedom really ever stood a chance. So, there's that.